So there was a few things that helped me to sustain my level of comfort while riding this Ironbutt ride. Number one, which was the first thing I changed yesterday, I took off the Clockwork Shorty windshield and replaced the OEM windshield that came with the bike. I put that back on, put my vent back on, tightened that down, made sure I had my windshield because I didn't want the buffeting that I normally get with that Shorty windshield. I knew if I had to deal with that for 18 hours, I was going to have a hell of a migraine, and I wasn't going to be able to complete the trip, most likely. So I made sure I changed that. I brought along a seat cushion, what my kids call a booty pad. It's like a cushion for long distance traveling in a car. But I actually started off the morning using that. And then I felt like I didn't need it, so I took it off. It just felt like I wasn't as connected with the bike. If I wanted to lean, it felt awkward. But I brought it for an emergency. This is my first long distance ride, so I wanted to make sure I was going to be as comfortable as possible. Also taking breaks. We stop every hour and a half to 2 hours to gas up, get a snack, drink some water, walk around, let the blood circulate. That helped out a lot. Kept some music going in my helmet, my headset. That helped me pass the time. Made a couple phone calls, talked to some people, talked to my wife. That helped to pass the time. We only made one stop at a restaurant for lunch. Didn't stop for breakfast, and we're not stopping for dinner either, so just gonna continue riding it out. We should be home in about 4.5 hours. About 30 miles outside of Sanderson. Once we hit Sanderson, Del Rio is about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, I think. I hope. But yeah, those are some of the things that I did just to make sure I was comfortable. I had about 6 bottles of water, plus I had a 32-ounce cup full of water, ice water that was here earlier. I had some snacks, walnuts and some apples, and my favorite complete cookie, double fudge complete cookie. It's a vegan cookie for people that are on a plant-based diet like myself. And I had somebody, one of my viewers, I believe his name was Christopher, if I'm not mistaken, he was asking me about the plant-based diet, and all it is simply is I only eat things that are grown or made from plants. I should say plants that are grown from the earth, and any foods that I eat are not going to be heavily processed. I don't eat meat or dairy. I don't even need a substitute for meat. I don't try to replace my protein that I'm losing, because I'm not losing any protein. I go to the gym regularly, and I'm not losing any muscle mass or strength, really. Most bodybuilders will tell you that you need carbohydrates pre and post workout, and protein is an important component or ingredient when building muscle or bodybuilding, and you want to be, big and bulky. But honestly, I don't think it's necessary. The amounts of protein that we take in as a society, I feel great. I've been meatless and cheeseless and milkless. Well, I hadn't drank milk in a long time, maybe about a year. But as far as cheese, I used to eat cheese all the time. Butter, grass-fed butter, and Kerrygold when I was doing a ketogenic diet. But the plant-based diet, there's a website called Forks Over Knives. Y'all can check that out. There's also a Netflix, I guess you call it a documentary about it, called Forks Over Knives. But the first one that got my attention was called What the Health. Health, Health. What the Health. And that's also on Netflix. And on there they just talk about how meat is processed and how dairy is processed and all the nasty things that go on and why they shouldn't be put into the human body and that kind of thing. And hey, for me, it's to each his own. I don't try to deter people from eating meat or dairy. But if you ask me why I don't, I can explain. It's just the health benefits for me have been phenomenal. I don't like to call myself a vegan or a vegetarian. I just like to say that I eat plant-based foods, and that's pretty much it. I keep it simple because even vegans and vegetarians eat things that they shouldn't eat and put things in their body that can be detrimental to their health. So, but those things are normally not plant-based. They're, other non-dairy and meatless products that are generally accepted by by those groups, but they're not necessarily plant-based or natural. So got to be careful with that stuff too. Anyhow, if anybody has a question or comment about that, go ahead and leave that below, and I'll try to respond or reply if it's something interesting or an observation or something like that. I'll be happy to respond. But or if you need advice or help with it, or resources, like I said, you can start with those Netflix documentaries to give you a quick education on it, and then Google search Forks Over Knives or plant-based diet. There's Facebook pages and all kinds of stuff. A wealth of information out there for those that are interested in going that route. I highly recommend it. Like I said, my doctor was able to take me off of most of my prescriptions. He agreed that with a plant-based diet I wouldn't need half the medications that I was taking. Okay, so yeah, works for me, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Anyhow, it's your boy Southern Cal out here on the Gold Wing on this Ironbutt Saddlesore 1000, and we are killing it right now.